Welcome back to World Crisis Radio. Got to move fast now to cover the remaining themes, wealth of material. Concerning what a real president would do concerning Social Security, all you need to do is lift the cap on the Social Security payroll tax, let all wages without limit up to into the millions, if you're earning that as wages, you're going to pay payroll tax on it. That basically solves everything with Social Security for at least 100 years out. No cuts in benefits. No increase in the age requirement, because this is totally unfair to manual workers, people in construction or any kind of physical labor. No tampering with the cost of living escalator. That was already done by the infamous Baskin Commission, the Briand-Chablis Baskin Commission of rich oligarchs 20 years ago. That's all, by the way, written up in Surviving the Cataclysm, your guide through the worst financial crisis in human history. Buy that through Tarpley.net. So you want to just increase remove the cap, let it go all the way up. Therefore, my method would be to say to these Tea Party people, look, I'm calling your bluff. If you want to try to bring down the government of the United States, I'll let you get to the brink of doing it, and then I'm going to come in with my 14th Amendment. But since a panic could now break out at any time, you've got to be ready to essentially act. Remember, under any and all circumstances, if the world goes into financial panic, the answer is implement my 5-point program. The 5-point program is for all seasons. It applies to the entire relevant historical future. The only thing that might change in the 5-point program is the order, the sequence in which you would implement the provisions. But you've got to master that 5-point program. You've got to basically know it by heart, and it's very easy to apply it to the needs of other countries. We'll try to say something about Greece in just a minute. So if default comes, suppose they do drive, right now practically Obama is too cowardly to invoke the 14th Amendment. He's too corrupt to talk about the general welfare clause. Suppose the U.S. does go into default. Suppose the world panic comes. The answer, implement the 5-point program and try to gain power in any country you can in order to do that. Now, let's change gears out of the U.S. domestic. Color revolutions. I think what we need right now, and I'm announcing this here, pardon me, we need a color revolution watch. A color revolution watch worldwide. If you know countries that are likely to go into a color revolution, maybe places that are a little bit off the beaten track, color revolution alert is now declared. And again, if you want to send me some analysis on this, do it in the form of fairly well-finished news items, not in the form of a personal letter or colloquial, but objective prose. Who, what, where, why, when, how, and why is this important, with a dateline. And we'll see what we can do in terms of putting this out. It looks to me like Thailand has now gone under color revolution control, but maybe that's too pessimistic. There may be various things that the pro-Chinese faction, the military faction, and others have been able to set up. But it looks like Italy, we've got this purple faction, right? The purple people. The purple people coming forward, and the purple people want to overthrow Berlusconi and replace him with the dictatorship of De Benedetti, as far as I can see. We have this newspaper, Il Fatto Quotidiano, the Daily Fact, which is essentially an anti-Berlusconi newspaper. Their big headline here on Tuesday was that Mondadori, the Mondadori affair, is depriving De Benedetti of 500 million euros, which are supposed to be paid to him by Berlusconi. So the entire Italian center-left, loyal to De Benedetti, are now up in arms, and they demand that more money should go into the coffers of De Benedetti. That's the program that's the real program of the purple people, the pro-De Benedetti, anti-Berlusconi people. You've also got destabilizations in the area near Turin, the valley of Susa, going up into the Alps. You have an actual movement, highly artificial, highly stimulated by foundations and intelligence networks, the people who are against fast rail, the anti-fast rail faction, have gone berserk this past week with black bloc violent anarchists, all kinds of street fighters shipped in from all across Europe, well-known anarchist street fighters, violent individuals, people fighting the police and so forth. 400 wounded last weekend, and quite a number of policemen sent to the hospital by these black bloc. Now, this has led to a crisis. Can left-wing, center-left political parties support the violence, the gratuitous fury of these anarchist black bloc hooligans? Maybe not. So that may be a step away from a cultural revolution, but a color revolution. But you see the general idea. Same thing is going on in Stuttgart, by the way, a protest against modern public works, modern high-speed rail, and so forth. Again, if you want to get out of a depression, the only way to do it right now is with massive programs of modern infrastructure to produce jobs, to modernize the economy, to raise the productivity of labor, and to get a multiplier effect going in real terms. We can also compare this. I just passed through Rome. Rome has some positive points. You compare Rome to Washington, okay, two capitals. In Rome, they now have finished the Pope John the 23rd tunnel under Monte Mario, and that means that if you're going from the zone around the Milvian Bridge, the famous Ponte Milvio, if you're going towards the airport from there, you can go through a 3-kilometer-long traffic tunnel under Monte Mario. U.S. has nothing to match this. Also, the subway system is being built in Rome. Several lines under construction right now, and Rome will soon have a modern subway system, which will be better than what we have here in Washington, D.C. Great stuff. Now, we've also got a committee of business people coming forward in Genoa demanding a third rail link between Genoa and Milan. This is absolutely critical. Genoa is the port for Milan and indeed for Switzerland and many other areas. There's got to be adequate rail transportation. So the business interests have gotten the message, but the leftists, the center left in particular, seem on the surface to be drowning in their own hostility. Here in Washington, D.C., there's a move to replace 1/4 of the oldest cars on the subway system. These are going to come from Kawasaki of Japan. What a shame for the United States. The capital of the United States can't buy train cars here in the United States because Bud and Grumman, I guess, are no longer in business or whatever it is. And we've also got a constant fight going on about the subway station, which is going to be built at Dulles International Airport, right? The main airport for the capital of the United States. And should it be underground and close and modern and up to date, or should it be a cheapo solution on the surface, which requires people to walk 500 or 600 feet more? It's going to be there for several hundred years. Why don't we do it right the first time around? Not this constant insanity of austerity psychosis. Anyway, you get the idea. So, a couple of comments on that. Intelligence wars. Let's look at this now. The United States now has a situation where the two leaders of two of the most important international financial agencies outside of this country are now U.S. puppets, U.S. agents. This would be Christine Lagarde, now going to become the head of the International Monetary Fund. This person is so she's so much a stooge of the Anglo-Saxons that she put out an order that French could not be spoken in the French finance ministry. Can you imagine? After de Gaulle was fighting for the dignity and applicability of the French language, Lagarde said, I don't want any public servant, any official in my ministry to write to me in French, no French. I don't want to hear you in French. Everything in my ministry goes on in English. This woman is now the U.S. asset heading up the IMF, and there's more in a minute.